Marvel's Daredevil Season 1 takes us into one of the darkest corners of the MCU, Hell's Kitchen, New York. This is the same city trying to rebuild after the destruction caused during the battle between the Avengers and the aliens. Yet beneath the surface, it is rotting with crime and corruption. At the center of this story is Matt Murdock, a simple lawyer by day and a ruthless vigilante by night. As a child, Matt loses his eyesight when chemicals spill into his eyes during an accident. However, the incident enhances his remaining senses to a superhuman level, especially his hearing. Matt can now hear heartbeats, detect distant sounds, and sense every movement around him through a unique radar sense inside his mind. His father, Jack Murdock, was a boxer who taught him the difference between right and wrong. But when Jack is killed for refusing to throw a fight, Matt begins to lose faith in the system. To keep that faith alive, he chooses the profession of law. Yet when he realizes justice cannot always be served in court, the vigilante inside him awakens. He fights for justice in the courtroom and delivers justice himself on the streets. At night, Matt wears a mask and fights criminals. At this stage, he does not yet wear the iconic red Daredevil suit, only black clothes and a mask, showing that this is his early form. He still has much to learn. Matt was trained by Stick, a harsh and relentless mentor who taught him that emotions are a weakness. But Matt's greatest battle is not outside, it is within himself. Can violence truly bring justice? By day, Matt runs a small law firm with his best friend Foggy Nelson. Together, they help people whom the system and police have failed. This is where they also meet Karen Page, who later becomes an important part of their team. Karen is falsely accused of murder, a crime secretly orchestrated by a criminal, Wilson Fisk. Matt takes up her case and fights to prove her innocence. Meanwhile, a nurse named Claire Temple enters Matt's life, repeatedly saving him from death. She questions him, "Are you really saving the city or making things worse?" When Foggy discovers Matt's secret, their friendship is pushed to the breaking point. Behind nearly every major crime in Hell's Kitchen stands one man, Wilson Fisk, also known as Kingpin. Fisk does not see himself as a villain. He believes he is rebuilding the city in his own way. His love for Vanessa makes him emotional and human, but his rage and brutality reveal the monster within. As Fisk's power grows, he takes control of the police, the media, and the entire system. Fear spreads across the city. But Daredevil is not one to back down. He decides to confront Fisk directly. In the season finale, Matt fully embraces his true identity, wearing the red Daredevil suit for the first time and facing Kingpin in a final showdown. Eventually, Wilson Fisk is arrested. But the war for Hell's Kitchen is far from over. Daredevil Season 1 is not just a superhero show. It is a story about pain, faith, and the struggle between right and wrong. It shows that heroes bleed, break, and pay a price for every victory. That is why Daredevil remains one of Marvel's most realistic and powerful characters.
Marvel's Daredevil Season 2 takes the story of Hell's Kitchen to a darker and more emotional level. This time, Matt Murdock is not facing just one enemy. He is caught between two powerful ideologies represented by the Punisher and Elektra. The season begins with a brutal gang war. Criminal groups are being slaughtered one by one. A new name spreads fear across the city, the Punisher. Frank Castle, known as the Punisher, does not believe in the legal system. He believes criminals deserve death. After his family was murdered by gangsters, justice for him means revenge. Matt Murdock believes every person deserves a fair trial, but Frank argues that the system is broken and mercy only creates more victims. This becomes the central conflict of the season. Should criminals be given a second chance or permanently eliminated? Matt fights Frank at night as Daredevil and defends him in court when he is arrested. Their conflict is not just physical. it is philosophical. Meanwhile, Matt's former lover, Elektra Natchios, suddenly returns. Elektra is dangerous, unpredictable, and connected to a secret organization known as the Hand. She reveals that the Hand is an ancient and powerful group attempting to take control of the city. Stick also returns and exposes a shocking truth. Elektra is the Black Sky, a living weapon the Hand wants to control. Matt once again finds himself torn between two paths, following Elektra into darkness or staying loyal to his moral code. As chaos grows, Matt's relationships begin to collapse. Foggy and Karen feel abandoned by Matt's double life. Karen investigates Frank Castle's tragic past and develops a deep emotional connection with him. Foggy believes Matt is losing himself, and eventually Nelson and Murdock falls apart. In the final episodes, Daredevil and Elektra fight together against the Hand. In a tragic battle, Elektra sacrifices herself to save Matt. Matt is devastated, but he realizes Hell's Kitchen still needs him. Frank Castle escapes prison and fully embraces his identity as the Punisher. The season ends with Matt revealing his secret to Karen. I am Daredevil. Season 2 is not just about action, it is about morality. The Punisher represents absolute judgment, Elektra represents chaos and power, and Matt stands between them, trying to protect his city without losing his soul. This season proves that being a hero comes at a heavy cost. Sometimes the price is love, friendship, and peace. Marvel's The Defenders picks up the story right after the events of Daredevil Season 2. Crime and mysterious activities are rapidly increasing across New York City. But this time, the threat is so big that a single hero may not be enough. The city needs a team that can truly defend it. In this story, 4 different heroes come together: Matt Murdock, Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, and Danny Rand, also known as Iron Fist. Matt Murdock is still protecting Hell's Kitchen. Meanwhile, Jessica Jones is working as a private investigator, and while investigating a strange case, she begins uncovering a much larger conspiracy. Interestingly, parts of this conspiracy are also connected to Danny Rand's company. Luke Cage continues defending the people of Harlem, while Danny Rand is actively trying to stop a dangerous organization known as the Hand. Slowly, the paths of all 4 heroes begin to converge. The Hand is an ancient and powerful organization searching for a mysterious power hidden beneath New York City. The group is led by Alexandra, who wants to use this hidden resource beneath the city to expand her power. Soon, a shocking truth is revealed. Elektra, who everyone believed was dead, has been resurrected by the Hand. The qualities of the Black Sky were always within her, but now she has fully become the Black Sky. Elektra is now under the control of the Hand and has become more dangerous than ever before. At first, the 4 heroes do not trust each other. Each of them has a different method and mindset. But when they realize that the Hand could put the entire city in danger, they decide to work together. This is the moment when the team known as the Defenders is formed. In the final part of the series, the Defenders face the Hand in a major battle. The confrontation takes place inside a massive structure hidden beneath the city. During the fight, Matt and Elektra come face to face. Matt still tries to save her, but Elektra has completely changed. Eventually, the building collapses, trapping Matt inside with Elektra. The world believes that Daredevil has died. But in the final scene, it is revealed that Matt is actually alive and recovering somewhere unknown. The events of The Defenders connect directly to the beginning of Daredevil Season 3, continuing Matt Murdock's journey after everyone believes he is dead.
Nice ears.
They're horns.
Marvel's Daredevil Season 3 begins right after the events of The Defenders. The world believes that Matt Murdock is dead, but in reality, he is alive, broken, injured, and now weaker than ever. Matt is in a church where a nun named Maggie takes care of him. He is not just physically damaged, but also mentally and spiritually shattered. He begins questioning God, his mission, and his own identity. Matt's return and inner conflict. Matt wants to fully become Daredevil again, but this time he is heading down a much darker path. He believes that Matt Murdock as a person has failed. He decides that he will now live only as Daredevil, without mercy. Yet deep inside, his humanity is still alive. And that is what truly makes him Daredevil. Meanwhile, Wilson Fisk, also known as Kingpin, makes a deal with FBI agent Ray Nadeem. Nadeem is an honest officer dealing with pressure from both his career and his family. Fisk manipulates him and uses the deal to step out of prison under FBI protection. But in reality, he is planning to control the entire system from within. Slowly, Fisk places his influence inside the FBI and begins taking control of the city once again. The fake Daredevil and the rise of Bullseye Fisk executes another dangerous plan. He manipulates FBI agent Benjamin Poindexter. Poindexter is mentally unstable, and Fisk gradually turns him into a weapon. Wearing the Daredevil suit, Poindexter commits violent crimes, destroying Daredevil's image completely. Later, Poindexter becomes the Bullseye. Now the city begins to see Daredevil as its enemy. Meanwhile, even without Matt, Foggy Nelson and Karen Page continue fighting for justice. Foggy tries to stop Fisk through the legal system. Karen investigates Fisk's past and uncovers his secrets, while her own backstory is revealed, adding depth to her character. At the same time, Ray Nadeem slowly realizes the truth, that Fisk has been manipulating him and the entire system. In the end, Nadeem chooses to stand for the truth, sacrificing his life to expose Fisk. A major emotional revelation unfolds. Maggie is actually Matt's biological mother. This truth shakes Matt deeply, but also gives him the strength to rise again. In the final episodes, Matt faces both Fisk and Bullseye in a brutal confrontation. This battle is not just about strength, but about identity and control. During the fight, Fisk severely injures Bullseye. Matt ultimately defeats Fisk, but chooses not to kill him. This proves that he is still a true hero, someone who can choose the right path even in darkness. Fisk is sent back to prison. Matt reunites with Foggy and Karen, and together they rebuild Nelson, Murdock, and Page. This firm continues for years, until Wilson Fisk rises again, and this is where the story directly connects to Daredevil, Born Again.